Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I know I promised a 321 stream. Unfortunately, it's crashing to desktop, so we are doing the CRJ J Rollin 200. Nah, I think I already got you guys the first time I did that. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a very special day. We get to be flying the wonderful Toliss A321. What is up, Ali and Jeff? Hello from Australia. How's it going, man? I hope you guys are doing all right over there with the fires. Hopefully the rainy season is helping out there. Good morning, or whatever it is in the U.S. It is 3 p.m. here in Texas. So it is afternoon for me. What is up, Tesla guy? Dougal McTavish, how's it going, man? Captain Geo in the house. Gerald McGinley, what's up, man? I'm a little sad. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little sad. We are not in the U.S. Airways Cactus livery for this stream. But hey, I'll give you a break, man. You've done a fantastic job. This is actually one of Gerald McGinley's liveries here, an American A321 with the special red wingtips. There's only one of them in the fleet. 933 Alpha Mike. There they are. Attention to a detail as always. So excellent job there, Gerald. Welcome to the stream, man. Carta Jawol, what's going on, man? Carta is a freaking animal, guys. He's already put Neo engines on his 321. So I mean, insane. What's up, Carta? Good to see you here. Thanks for that tutorial video on getting that Neo out as well. Colin Shirley, how's it going? At J20, NASA 6 in the house. What is up, man? What is up? Good to see you here. He just passed his ATPL in Spain. Good to see NASA here. How's it going, man? Sorry I ditched on you there earlier, man. I got busy. So, all right. Got you excited for the CRJ there, huh, NASA? All right, man. Hi, everyone. How's it going, Rich? Good to see you. All right, guys. So we are obviously in the 321 now. Hopefully you guys have had some opportunity to fly it around. I've been flying this airplane since the first beta branch back in December, I believe. Or I guess alpha, you could call it that even. So this plane has come a long way since Toliss first approached me and gave me the rough copy of what they had. So it's been fun. I've been flying it behind the scenes, and I'm excited to get it going here on stream with you right now. So I suspect a lot of you guys have a lot of questions about the 321. A lot of them keep rolling in on the DMs and on the Discord and things like that. So I'm going to try to walk you through some of the nuances and the differences of flying a 321 versus a 320, and more specifically versus a 319. Honestly, same type rating across the board. You get typed in a generic 320, and then you are cleared for the 19 and 21 as well. So you just have to be aware of the differences and things like that. So Simone Tomba, you're going to wait for the 321? All right, man. I know some people have had some crash to desktop issues with this airplane. I'm hoping that doesn't happen to us today. I'll readjust my seat here. So right off the bat, you know it's a longer airplane. It definitely is longer than the 320 or 319. This airplane's only a couple feet shorter than a 757, believe it or not. Now, the 757, while it has a greater overall thrust, the 321, when you get a light load in a 321, it actually has a pretty phenomenal thrust to weight ratio, and it definitely can be a beast. Where the 321 gets a little bit sketchy is up high at high altitudes, because the wings are the exact same length as a 320 and a 319. So with the sharklets, they're 117.5, so 117 feet 5 inches. And if you were to look at the CEO option, I'm sorry, not the CEO option, the wingtip fence option, which is toggleable in the ISCS, but we're going to leave the beautiful sharklets on there right now. The wings would be a 111 feet 10 inches, so 111.10 if you don't have the sharklets on there. But with the sharklets, they're the same across the board from a 19 all the way to a 21, 117.5. The only difference that you're going to notice is in the flaps. So the 321 have a double slotted Fowler flap there on the trailing edge, and what this allows the flight crew to do is approach at a much lower angle of attack as you get down to critical AOAs. So if you fly on the 319 or the 320, you know that you're going to be coming in probably around 3 to 5 degrees nose up. 5 is a little exaggerated. Probably around 3 to 4 is kind of the sweet spot for a 19 and 20 on approach. For a 321, you're right about that 2 2 to 3 mark, maybe 1 to 2, depending on how you're loaded. So it does come in shallower. The reason being, when you stretch the fuselage on an aircraft like this, so you think about this 319 winglet or wing design, right? How short the 319 is. Now you're going to go not only to a 20, but a 21 with the same wing. The tail strike is much more of a threat. The tail strike pitch attitude with the struts compressed is 9.7 degrees. So pitch up 9.7 degrees. Boom. That is a tail strike. Alski, Rastas, what is up, man? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying the content. So we have a limitation at 7.5 degrees pitch. We call pitch, if you reach 7.5, we call that the unemployment attitude. You hit 7.5 degrees pitch, you're probably going to tail strike because you're just trending upward from there. Now, without the struts compressed, with them in there extended, they're at 11.2 degrees. So you still have a little bit of wiggle room there depending if the struts are compressed or not. But you compare that to the 319 with a compressed strut, 13.9 degrees of pitch. So almost 14 degrees, almost double that to strike a 319 versus a 321. So because of that real life threat of a tail strike, you had to get those different flaps in there to help bring the AOA down when you're on approach. Excellent. All right. Dean Michaels, hello V1. What's going on, man? Looking forward to your flight with this new plane. Have a great flight. Thank you, Dean. Let's hop into it, guys. While we're sitting here on the ground, I've got the APU off, so let's go ahead and fire that up first. We're going to get the air conditioning running. Now, the release candidate version does have the wonderful Totemak textures. It really adds a lot to this pit. I remember when I was first flying the original beta that came out months ago, this cockpit was very similar to the original 319, and you look at what the 319 was when it came out, and then you look at how the 321 is when this came out, and Toliss has made substantial progress in the overall product. Ramon Thompson, what's going on? I was waiting for this. Good to see you here, bud. Yes, Captain Tom, you're wondering why the 321 is coming in shallower. That is why. I got the double-slotted Fowler flaps back there. But that's the only aesthetic difference there on the outside, other than the fuselage, of course, being longer. So wings are the same, flight control surfaces are the same, everything else is the same, just the flaps there. And that was an intentional design by Airbus to get that AOA down on approach. Colin, surely can't wait for the BSS sounds, you and me both. I agree, guys. The sounds are, I don't know if anybody had the default, the Toliss sound pack, the TSS sound pack that came with the 319. That's essentially what this sound pack is. It's pretty much the same. It's just the TSS Turbine Sound Studios. Definitely would love to have a BSS sound pack from Conrad for this. Now, I hope he can get one out there relatively soon, because I don't imagine him having to redo the entire sound pack, because it's the same engine, right? It's the same sounds. If anything, it's just going to be quieter in different areas of the cockpit and cabin. So he may have to do some adjusting as he sets up the sound cones. But let's go ahead and make sure we have all our wing views set up. So we're going to come back here to the cabin. Lovely cabin. This looks like an all economy class configuration. There is no mid or aft lavatory there. So we'll just go ahead and make sure we've got a right wing. That's looking good. Right wing flap. Beautiful. Left forward, left aft, beautiful. That's all we need. So we've already got our wing views bound. What do we got in the cockpit? We've got our overhead bound. Perfect. Now we need to make sure we have, I always like this view right here. This is always a good view right here. We've got that set there. Boom, boom, perfect. And then we're going to need a view for our radios. We are going to be on the Pilot Edge network today, going down to Los Angeles. So let me just set that view right there. Perfect. There's our radio view. That's all we need. Let's go ahead and get this airplane loaded up here. Dean says, I have this plane, would like more liveries. Where are the best places to look? Right now, Dean, the X-Plane store, or X-Plane Forum, or the Toliss Forum is where I saw all the liveries. So until, I know it's brand new, so there's going to be a lot more to come out in days, but right now we got it. It's just what we have on the X-Plane store. All right, let's go ahead and load up Reno to Los Angeles. We can go ahead and align. We are American AAL 133. We're going cost index of 99. I'm going to see where it sets up at a 99 climb out. We're filed at 310. Perfect. Now with that, let's go ahead and pull up our ATIS. We don't have to listen to ATIS now because one of you guys told me about looking this up here, which is fantastic. Departure ATIS for a Reno Tahoe is going to be information kilo, wow, 160 at 14, gust 18. 10 miles, temperature 14. What do we got? Altimeter 2986, and I have them all synced up, so I only have to switch one of them. I don't have to go through the cockpit and switch all of them, which I like avoiding that. And that is information kilo, so now we got to load up the ground clearance delivery on 124.9. Let's go ahead and get our clearance, and then we will be on our way to programming the box. Good afternoon, Reno clearance, American 133 IFR to LA with Kilo. Grayson, what's up, man? Good to see you here. You know what? I bet my audio.
American 133 Reno clearance. Good afternoon. Clear to Los Angeles International Airport. Zephyr 6 departure Darby transition as filed. Calling via SID. Expect flight level 31010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2 and squawk 6127.
All right, we're cleared to LA. Zephyr 6 Darby transition as filed. Climb via the SID. 310 in 10 minutes. Departure frequency is 19.2, squawking 6127 for American 133.
American 133, read back correct. I expect runway 16 right.
Roger that. We'll expect 16 right, American 133. All right, so she's going to shoot us off 16 right, which is anticipated. We're over here at the terminal buildings. We're going to have to make a left turn out on Alpha to 16 right. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the audio there. Let's go ahead and finish loading up the box. Once we get en route, we'll be able to talk a little bit performance-wise about the aircraft and how it is different from the 19 and the 20. So you can see here, Toliss also adjusted the pop-out McDo. So I noticed in their 319, they had this 3D model here, but they had a different 2D, which was kind of a pet peeve of mine. But we have proper matching MCUs, which is fantastic. So we're going off the Zephyr 6. Let's go ahead and pop these out. I like the way I control these pop-out screens better than a lot of add-on aircraft out there. Just like to mouse wheel the size and everything. Zephyr 6 Darby, insert that. And then after Darby, what do we got? FRA. We'll choose this one, 144 miles. That will be proper. We're going to join J7 off of that. J7 to Reberg. REB RG. Insert. That's going to load us up to the Ironman. We're going to expect, I'm hopeful they'll send us to 25 left on the Ironman 2 here. Load up Ironman 2, arrow right for transition, and we're looking for a Reberg. Insert. How you doing? Flight plan is in the box. Pilot edge is very loud, Dougal says. Well, we will adjust that. I had them way up there too. We'll go ahead and turn that down. Hopefully it won't blast you guys out now. All right, so we've got that. Our secondary flight plan. Check it out. Toliss now has the secondary flight plan option loaded up here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set up an emergency return. Always want to do this. We do it real life. Do it every flight you do. You always want to have an emergency return back in. That way, if you need to, if you blow an engine or something like that, you just activate secondary. You don't have to sit there fiddling with the box trying to load up another approach or return. So we're going to come right back to 16 right. We'll just take the X-ray, no star, no transition. Oops, I didn't mean to save that. So now we go perf. All we care about is the approach part of that. QNH 29er 86. Temperature outside is a 1.4. Pretty nice day here in Reno, Tahoe. Winds were gusty. We're just going to call it 140 at 18. And I'm going to put a 200 in there because I'm not going to look. I don't have the chart to look it up. Hopefully, we won't come back. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the fault scenarios. Enabled random faults is on. Save as default. You guys know how it was when I flew the 319 around. We definitely got some surprises. I'm hoping we don't get any surprises on this flight, but we've got enabled random faults on. We are ready to go. So always have that secondary in there. Come back to the RadNav, nothing to hard tune. The initB. All right, let's look at the loadout screen here. Let's go ahead and talk about configuration. All right, so all economy configuration, go 224. Let's go ahead and take a moderately heavy load. Let's take 208 packs. Dead center. We're going to put them in the... Yeah, we don't really load the aft cargo in the 321 first. We load this one first, typically. So we'll take... that's pretty... That looks decent there. 2,000 kilos there on the forward cargo. Looks pretty good to me. So what do we have? That's going to launch us at 24.3 on the CG with a zero fuel weight of 70.6. Insert that. Block fuel going down to LA. We don't want to be too heavy because we are coming out of a high density altitude airport here in Reno. If I take 6, I think we can get away with 7. Let's go ahead and do 7. Weight and balance still looks good. 7.0. Let's see what that gives us here. Extra time, 52 minutes. So Dimitri was asking, how do I ballpark my fuel without using SimBrief or anything like that? This is a good trick, guys. So right here, if you don't want to do a full-blown flight plan, I can probably even take less fuel. But I'm gonna burn some gas on a 2-engine taxi and a high out and a no flex in flight sim. That's our new motto here at the V1 channel. So we're going full yoga out of here. If you plug in a number up here, it will tell you your extra. So let's say I took 6.0. Now we got 32 minutes. So that's probably a more realistic loadout. But I'm happy with 7. Actually, you know what? Let's do 6. Let's do 6. What the heck? And we're going to actually... Our ramp fuel is always a little bit more than our takeoff fuel. So let's do 6.8 quick refuel. All right, so now we've got 6.8 on board. Probably burn about 800 kilos or so by the time we get out of here. But that leaves us 32 minutes extra time. Not a whole lot of gas, but more than enough to get us to our destination. So 6.0 block fuel, weight and balance looks good. Excellent. The temperature is in Celsius. Yes, Brennan, the temperature is in Celsius. All right, so that is our initB. That looks good. A landing weight is 73.5 in the green. Let me do a quick calculation into pounds here for me so I can know. I don't know my limitations in kilos. I know that's within weight, but I'm curious what that landing weight is. 73.5, just roughly. That's pretty heavy, actually. Let's see. 73,500 kilograms, 2 pounds. Google says 162,000. So relatively loaded, but not bad. I think we're well within limits, but not too terrible there. So the max landing weight for a 320 is 145.05, so we're only about 20,000 pounds heavier than that. Not a bad deal at all. So our init is complete. Let's go ahead and do our progress page. We're going to go off Reno 16 right. I'm going to throw that right here. And perf data. So, Fayunion, is this my first time flying it? No, I've been flying this airplane around since December, during the first beta or first alpha release, really, when they first started working on things. Toliss actually came to me and said, hey, I'd like to include you on some of our testing, see what you think. And I was very humbled by that, and I thought it was really nice of them and a good direction for them to go in including me with their development of the 321. Now, even with that said, I'll tell you this, guys. I wrote up, I think, 2 separate PDFs on little things I found wrong and things that just didn't look right, didn't add up right. And by the time I got this release candidate version, all that stuff was fixed. So hats off to Toliss for actually listening to customer base and getting some bugs out of the way. So awesome job on them. Now, talking about flex numbers and takeoff numbers, I said that I would be looking at some third-party numbers. I haven't been able to get them to work properly yet. So I'm going to change these. The Toliss, I will tell you this, these numbers seem awfully high. So I'm going to change them. We're going to go 150, 155, and then a 160. Flaps 1, no flex. Alright, so we're going to do a full toga takeoff out of here. I'm going to back these speeds down a little bit. These speeds are a little bit higher than normal. Now, I don't know if, I would imagine Toliss takes into account runway length, but it almost seems like their V1 speeds are always in the 160s, which, depending on runway length, that's definitely going to change, right? So I have to dig deeper into that. I promise I will get to it, guys. But let's go ahead and close that. Box is loaded. What's our top altitude out of here? Climb via SID on the Zephyr 6. So our top altitude is flight level 190. We'll spin that up. Oops. Spin it up to 190. That looks good. Exits across the board. We can go ahead and go fuel pumps on. We no longer need external power. Wow. I had the batteries off there. I think I caught it just in time. Interesting. Alright, so that's on. Seatbelt sign can come on. Auto, arm, the emergency exit lights, ground control push button is on. Everything else looks good on the overhead. Put you back into arc mode. Let's go ahead and tune up ground control. Which we've got 121.9er. So, like we've talked about in the ATC recently, 121.9, we'll get that set, and then we'll also throw in tower in the standby 18.7, so we're not digging around when we're on our taxi out, and then we'll even update it to departure frequency when we get to the runway. So 21.9, 18.7, audio push button on. Gaming Ninja Sheep, what is up, man? Good luck with the flight. I gotta go to sleep, sadly. Gaming Ninja, thank you so much for your support, man. Have a wonderful night. I hope you get some rest. Don't even sweat it. Catch up on the replay, man. Good to have you here while you were.
Departure frequency 135.1.
Captain Geo, guys, I want to see 200 likes on this video. Let's get it. I appreciate it, Geo. All right, let's go ahead and close up the doors. So we're going to start closing that up. Unfortunately, we don't have auto gate here, so that's all right. We're going to close it up. Everything is closed. Our beacon light can come on. Let's plan a pushback here. Oops, wrong button. Actually, we're not going to push onto a ramp, so.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you, RT, for subscribing. Appreciate it, man. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to push us deep into the alley here. We'll see how the pushback truck handles this. We don't have to call ground because we're not going to go over the line, hopefully.
Driving up.
Dimitri says, view on our V speeds in the low 160s accurate. It all depends, Dimitri, on your load and your airport and a lot of factors. So, Krill or Kirill Evlev, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome. It depends on loadout, Dimitri. I will say that I rarely get anything less than 160 in the Toliss, so I'm inclined to believe that there's something not quite right with the way the V-speeds are calculated, but I have no proof of that yet. I've got to dig into it. I tried downloading the Top Cat, I think is one of the ones that you guys recommended, but like I said, every time I went to open the download file, it would just freeze. So I'm still trying to find a good performance calculator.
Okay. All doors
and what I'm going to do is
closed.
compare it
Ready
to some real life. I still have, so throughout the course of development, I have been collecting real world 321 performance takeoff data, climb data, things like that, and I've been testing it in the sim. Now I also have the V-speeds at certain weights at airports. So I'm going to just recreate those scenarios and load up the 321 and see what Toliss spits out, what a Top Cat spits out, and some other third-party V1 speed calculators will come up with. So I haven't been able to do that yet. I'm hoping to do it this week. So I've got a couple days off now. We should be able to relax and enjoy this bird, and I'll get some work done. I know I've been saying I'm going to get on that V-speed
Tow
thing
connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, just before we release the brakes here, we need to make sure we're squawking 6127. 6127. I'm going to turn it on and into TARA mode for Pilot Edge, and we'll also go to above mode. Brakes release, you're clear to push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engine.
All righty. Azen Boyan has become a member to Private Pilot. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Guys, let's get some positive rates there in chat. All my members in chat, positive rates for the new member. Welcome aboard, Azen. Glad to have you here. Exclamation point welcome for a little bit more information about your perks for becoming a member to the V1 channel, man. Awesome to have you on board. Carter says, V1, that's odd. Where does overhead say commercial? Mine says Econ Flow, yours says commercial. Are you above your pack 1? Oh, we forgot to talk about Econ Flow. So, Econ Flow right here. This is electrical load. So, Econ Flow. Everyone's asking me about Econ Flow. I mean, I never use it because all it does is it makes the freaking cabin hotter, right? So, what Econ Flow does, it depends on, this can depend airline to airline, SOP to SOP, but basically if you're below 147 passengers, roughly, RT011 donated $2. Thank you so much, man. He's got the tired, a cup of tired, man. Hey, get out of here, man. Get some rest. Thank you so much for your support, man. Thank you very much for that. Do get some rest. Kevin, just subscribe to the channel. That's a great name, man. That's my name. So, making sure the pushback isn't going crazy here. We are. So the Econ Flow, like I said, above 100 or below 147 passengers, you can technically turn it on. What it does is it basically reduces the pack outflow volume, therefore saving fuel by not running such a high demand on the packs. Now, when you have a single bleed source, such as the APU, it doesn't matter. So it only works when you're running dual engine bleeds. So I could turn this on the ground. It doesn't make any bit of difference. So when the engine bleeds are on, that's when it works. But when it's down to a single bleed source, it ignores the command. So Econ Flow, I never use it. Some SOPs, it's in there. All it does is reduce the output on the packs. In theory, I guess you can save a little bit of fuel. And wear and tear on the pack system, of course.
1220 Papa, 4 land tower, runway 10 left, clear to land, wind 040.
Fellow Floridians, you. Excellent. Can you do an aborted takeoff, Dan Smith? Not on this stream, man, but we can do it. You know what, though? That is a great idea. I don't think I've ever done an aborted takeoff, either in any of my pre-recorded videos or anything like that. So that's definitely a good video idea. We will hold on to that.
Ahead. Look up.
Sam Montoya, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Samuel. Welcome aboard, man. Guys, if you haven't, the 7K sub celebration.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Brakes set. Clear to disconnect.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So at the 7K sub celebration, we're doing a 7-hour stream from JFK to London City, and then we will be in Europe flying around over there. So if you haven't already, you want to see a 7-hour stream, I think it's going to be absolutely nuts, but we're going to do it anyway. Make sure you hit that sub button. All right, she's disconnecting tow down below. Let's go ahead and crank it up. Remember, just like any Airbus, always start engine 1 first. There's no logical sense in starting engine 2 first. Everything's turned up. So the sounds are definitely lacking a little bit, I think, you know, and it's, I don't mean that as a dig, but I'm just being honest with you guys.
Has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a safe flight.
I always told myself that I would be honest and unbiased on this channel, and it's not a dig by Toliss or TSS by any way. It's just there are higher quality sound add-ons out there. We've become accustomed to them BSS, Fmod, things like that. So I would like to see a little improvement in the sound department. Look at these textures here on the engine. I believe that's Gerald McGinley doing some work down there. All right, sounds like we got a good start on engine number 1. We're going to go ahead and fire up engine 2. PTU's barking, dog's trying to break in. In or out? Let me go check here while you guys watch this engine start.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Dog was trying to break in, apparently. All right, we'll spool them up there. Got the lovely I8Es. Dimitri vacuum sound. Vacuum cleaner sound. Uh-oh. Funyun just had profit. I mean, it's definitely a little lackluster on the sound front. But we can overcome that. Texture-wise, I mean, you guys remember when the 319 came out? This cockpit is definitely improved. So, oops, just moved it to crank mode. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at these flaps here. You'll be able to see the double-slotted flap. Right here, you can kind of make it out. Good flap sounds. So at position 1, it's a little bit harder to see. We'll look at it again on landing, but right here is your extra slot. All right, so that's on, and we no longer need the APU. We'll kill that. How are we looking on temps here in the cabin? What do we've got for conditioner? Wow, really? Why are you putting out 7 degrees? There they go, coming up a little bit. Alright, so that looks good. Good start on engine 2. Let's go ahead and call ground and get out of here. We are... It doesn't really matter what terminal we've backed off. She should know that by now. I guess she can see us. Because I don't have the exact gate. So, hopefully she knows where we are. Reno Ground, American 133 with information echo ready to taxi.
Look up.
Levante, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board.
American 133, Reno Ground, runway 16 right, taxi via Alpha.
16 right via Alpha, American 133. All right, 16 right via Alpha. I like this controller. She's pretty sharp.
Well, you can continue straight ahead.
All right, I'm going to turn it up a little bit because I can barely hear it. Is that too loud? You guys let me know if that volume is too loud. All right, we're going to taxi light on, brakes released. We'll do a cinematic taxi out.
Frontier Flight 124, leaving pilot edge coverage area, IFR correction. Radar services are terminated. Change to advisory frequency is approved. CGHFO contact Los Angeles Center 124.85.
Definitely prefer the IAE engines. Yes. I think they look way better. Beautiful bird, though. 16 right via Alpha. That's going to be the inner, so we're going to make the first left turn here. We can hear the APU spooling down. Wonderful texture work on the leading edge of the wing there.
Subscribe.
Fantastic job.
Look up.
Bojan Mamirov. Probably butchered that. Thank you for the subscription, man. All right, we'll straighten it out here. We'll go ahead and do our flight control checks. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudders, full left, full right, neutral. Ailerons are drooped. Everything is green across the board. That looks good. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config. Weather PWS. And that's in TRA. Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Cisco ground Delta 315
Looking
is
good.
Short of Golf and Alpha with information echo for taxi.
Look at that beast, though. Definitely a beast.
So the 315 service ground runway.
So a lot of you also were asking about the range capabilities of the 321. So now that you know the wings are the same, if you think about it, the 321 is actually the least fuel-efficient one out of the three, 19, 20, 21. That's why if you look at some of the longest Airbus routes out there, now this is without ACTs. The ACTs, Octanks, that's a whole different ball game. We'll talk about that later. But just a standard configuration, 321 actually has less range because it burns more fuel. It's less fuel efficient. So the 319 is a more fuel efficient bird because same wing, more lift, less weight. Naturally, you're going to burn less gas, right? But if I have to pick one, and I'm going to be in any sort of turbulence, I definitely want to be in a 321. Just because it kind of beats back on the air. I think it's just the sheer weight of the 321. It really kind of, I don't know, makes it a little bit softer ride. 319 is a tank. Definitely don't have any problems with that. 320 is a little sketch, but you do have to be careful of a high coffin corner, though, in a 321 because you're really stretching the lift capabilities of that wing. And we'll talk about coffin corner when we get up there at cruise altitude. We'll go ahead and switch to tower 18.7. Departure frequency is 19.2. Well, I can't put that in before we go over the runway here. $19.2 for departure. Perfect. All right, we're ready to go. Taxi lights off. We're holding short of 16 right. Let's do it. How can I get the AviTab tablet? The AviTab tablet is just a plug-in, and I just downloaded it, man, and it works. Just external plug-in. Reno Tower, American 133, holding short, 16 right, ready for departure.
American 133, Reno Tower, runway 16 right, clear for takeoff. Wind 15014, gust
16 right, clear for takeoff, American 133. All right, we are cleared for takeoff. Let's light them up. And here we go. Now, 321, definitely that longer fuselage, a little bit harder to turn, make it straight. So if you use runway stripes, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to use it. So a displaced threshold won't have the stripes, but the stripes that you normally see is sometimes referred to as the piano keys. One stripe, 319, make your right turn. Two stripes, 320, make your right turn. 321, hit that third stripe and then make your right turn or left turn, and that should get you pretty centered with your trucks. So we're going to come across it. It's kind of hard to do it without the piano keys, but we'll go ahead and see how our lineup looks here. I even undercut that one a little bit. Oh yeah, we undercut that one a lot of it, so that was a terrible example. All right, let's spool them up 50. We're clear for takeoff. Nose forward on the stick. Let's go, yoga. Mantoga SRS runway auto thrust balloon. It's definitely gusty around here because I'm getting blown around on the runway. 8 knots thrust set. Neutral by 100. V1. Rotate. Nice and smooth on the rotation. Nice and smooth.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
Did we actually just get a wind shear? Okay, so we're toga. Pitch to the flight directors. American 133, we're responding to a wind shear.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
All right. So we'll contact departure American 133. So we're going to stay Mantoga. We're not going to change configuration, but we're clearly out of it now. So positive rate, gear up. Maybe not. Speed wants to drop back. We are definitely in a wind shear. Just follow the flight director commands. We're still climbing 2,000.
Calling Seattle Center, unreadable, lot of static.
We have a positive rate, or positive trend in airspeed, so let's go ahead and start reducing. Alright, thrust climb auto thrust. It appears we are clear of the wind shear. Wow, that was definitely sketchy. So you don't want to change configuration on a wind shear there until you're clear of the wind shear. So we'll go autopilot 1 on now. That was interesting. So let's contact departure. That'll clear us of any restrictions. Reno departure, American 133, 7.3, climbing via the Zephyr 6, and we had a wind shear coming off 16 right.
American 133, northbound departure.
All right, here comes our F speed, or excuse me, S speed.
American 133, yeah, the tower did advise us that what was the drop or increase in speed variation?
We had a drop of about 10 knots there, and then it was an increase of maybe 15.
American 133, roger, and you are radar contact, climb via Citic 72, level 190.
All right, we'll climb via Zephyr 190, American 133. All right, we're still climbing via. We didn't violate anything. That's an interesting TCAS or Jip Whiz there, 2,500, going over the hill. So all the way out to Darby. So we're looking good. Everything else is looking good. Flaps are up. Wow. So that was an interesting departure. First flight on stream, we get a pretty good wind shear there. So again, guys, if you ever get a wind shear in the Airbus, maintain your configuration. Don't bring up the gear. Don't retract the flaps or anything like that, because if you attempt to change configuration, sometimes you'll actually increase more drag, especially with the gear doors there. So it's go to the escape commands on the flight director, which this wasn't technically correct. The symbology for a wind shear was not technically correct here on the PFD, because it looked like it was still making me pitch to a regular climb profile. I would have thought that it would have made me pitch up a little bit higher, but I not have to watch the replay to take a look at it. So this, I'm not sure if this whole thing was entirely accurate, but make sure that toga thrust, if you're not in toga, maybe you did a flex takeoff, firewall those thrust levers all the way up, and just hold that pitch attitude until you are clear of the wind shear. I thought I was clear of it there. I brought the thrust levers back, and I immediately started to lose about 10 knots. I saw the trend arrow coming down, so I said, nope, we're just going to keep that thrust in there until we get out of it. So we're at 10,000 feet now, out of 11.2. All right. So, never a dull moment here with the Toliss. I'm going to back this one up just a little bit right there. Beautiful. Look at that shot. The mountains, that Fort Boy ortho doing its thing. We do want to change our climb speed here, because we're going to do 300 knots so we can get up a little bit higher. Take forever at 330 or whatever it wanted to climb us at. So up we go after takeoff. Checklist. Everything else looks good. Should have started the chrono. Where are my chrono emojis at? Disarm the speed brakes there. Going through. We're still plus 15 on the OAT, so we don't need any engine anti-ice. All right, well, back to the chat. Sorry, guys, for totally ignored you guys there. I think that might have been my first wind shear ever in X-Plane. What cost index do I recommend? Heck, man, you're not paying for fuel, right? I'd go 99. But if you're going to do a 99 cost index, a word of caution, none of the Airbuses, I don't know if it's not just me, because I've spoken to Phantom 320, who's another Airbus driver. For some reason, the 320 flight factor and the 321, I haven't really experienced it yet, but at 99 cost index, the planes don't climb very well. In the real bus, they do climb a little bit better at 99. So that's why you often see me here on stream. I'll just select speed 300, because it wants to climb out at 340 knots, 80 Mach, but we'll be climbing at 500 feet a minute for 30 minutes if we do that. So that's why I select speed 300, get up to your cruise altitude, and then go ahead and manage up and go 80, because heck, man, you're not paying for gas, right? So might as well give it a full send. All right, we've got the terrain on ND mode off. Everything is normal up here. We'll go ahead and get back, enjoy some of this Fort Boy ortho.
American 133, contact Oakland Center 1.
Carter says, not sure if the plane gives wind shear, if the plane gave the wind shear voice, active sky will also give wind shear. Ah, Carter, you might be onto something there, man. That wind shear might have been from active sky. Because the airplane didn't really, I don't know what was happening. But that was definitely interesting. Good point, Carter. Thank you. I had no idea that active sky could inject a wind shear.
Delta 315, north departure, radar contact, climb 86, 72, foot level 190.
Dimitri. Oh, good night. Probably truck simulator, guys.
39.
Goodness. All right, we're getting ready to go through 18,000 feet. Transition out to set standard STDs for you and me, 1, 2, and 3. Ready to go topless. We'll go topless. Take the headsets off. Then we just go ahead and turn on the. We turn this to off, and then we would use the hand mic, which is located right here to communicate. We don't have to wear a headset. What's our outside air temp now? Ooh, definitely a little bit chillier. So let's go ahead and get the ice on. Speed alt star leveling 190. 3295. American 133.
United 2340, cross Mach C at maintain flight level 240.
Speed out. So when I level like this, I'll remanage, get some extra juice going there, so when we go back into a climb, we can dial it back. Center, good afternoon, American 133, level 190.
American 133, Oakland Center, climb and maintain flight level 310.
Climb and maintain 310, American 133. All right, pull for open climb, thrust climb, open climb. We'll set a 310. Up she goes. Nice little headwind there already, 33 knots. Crosswind, really. We're gonna have to turn down the sounds a little bit.
Denver Center.
Carter says I found that out because it can bug sometimes on the ground and keep saying wind shear.
Just a
Ah,
quick question.
interesting.
Do you have a buddy flying the same route with you to JFK?
I did. He's off for about a couple hours, and then he'll probably come back on.
Nope, Jabito didn't miss a handoff. We just got it. We're on with Oakland now. I think it's Oakland. No, Oakland Center? Might be. Tesla says, would you haul an A321 Toliss 319 into Santos Dumont? Santos Dumont, huh? I'm not really. Let me take a look. What's the elevation up there? So there's a couple altitude restrictions for different airplanes for landing. So let me take a look.
315, contact Oakland Center 132.905.
Oh, in Rio, huh? Yeah, I don't see why not, man. Looks like there's Airbuses going in there. Absolutely, man. I'd love to. Don't have any scenery down there, though.
Oakland Center, Delta 315, leveling at flight level 190.
Delta 315.
Gosh, that ortho. All right, let's go outside. I'm going to turn down the sounds a little bit here.
Delta 315.
I'm going to turn that down. We need to turn down. I'm going to turn down that wind sound, and let's go ahead and turn down the engine volume a little bit.
Okay, Wilco, we're just picking that up now.
All right, now we can think. Let's go outside. Wow, look at that shot right there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love the little red tips there on the sharklets. Excellent attention to detail there from Gerald McGinley. I expected nothing less of you, good sir. Wow. That is beautiful. Jeffrey Chen says, hello V1, would you might explain how to weather radar work in the 321? Yes, so the weather radar will not work if you have active sky. But you essentially, as long as you have it turned on and you're using default weather, it will paint weather for you. Now I went into detail a little bit on how the weather radar works with the gain controls and all that in a previous stream. Doesn't make much of a difference on X-Plane, so just keep in mind that you have to have default weather on, and you have to have your weather radar turned on. So real quick, we'll just take a look at it. I wish I could move that armrest up. I can't. So the weather radar right here, I've got it system 1, predictive wind shear is an auto.
American 133 contact Oakland Center 127.45.
2745, American 133. Say it. 2745 for Oakland. So as long as you have your weather radar on, system 1, you should be good to go now. Now I have a distant weather. I don't know if any of these make a difference. Weather plus turbulence, turbulence only, or map mode. This is your tilt. Think of it as a wedge up and down. Jeff M, thank you for the subscription, man. And the gain, think of it as sensitivity. As long as you leave it in calibrated mode, you should be good to go. I leave it in calibrated mode 90% of the time. So turn it on, have default weather on, and if you're flying through a return, radar returns, it will paint for you. No longer need the engine anti-ice there. Oakland, good afternoon. American 133, 25-7, climbing 310.
American 133 Oakland Center, thank you.
All right, so we're still looking good, 25-8. Gosh, the ortho out of here is fantastic. Did the sharklets affect in crosswind? I don't really notice much of a difference. So let me tell you my experience with sharklets. So the sharklet Airbuses, to me, generally make the plane float just a little bit more. It's easier to float an Airbus with sharklets, I think. When you have the straight CEO wingtip fences, I keep saying CEO, the straight wingtip fences, which is the classic Airbus winglet, which is called a wingtip fence, I feel that they don't float as much. So the sharklets make it a little bit more floaty. That's really, I haven't really noticed anything prominent, you know, in crosswinds or any differences to that effect.
Subscribe ahead. Look up.
Richard Reed caught me there while I was having a sip of my drink. Thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome on board. Tesla guy says, Viewing, if you're hauling into a Rio, you're dealing with a 4,300-foot runway. Ooh, yeah. So you need to have absolute minimum tension. Maximum tension. Yeah, absolutely, man. You can get in 4,300 feet. You'd probably take a 319 in there. 320, I don't know, man. I don't think you can get a 321 in there. It would depend. It'd all depend on loadout. So, I mean, if I could say, yeah, well, you could probably get a 321 in there if it was configured empty or economy or a first class only configuration, only had a couple 100 pounds of fuel. But realistically speaking, I don't think you'd be getting a 321 in there. Probably could get a 320 in there if it had a severe weight restrictions. Probably no problem getting a 319 in or out of there. 319 is kind of that Swiss Army knife of the Airbus family, right? It can get into the smaller airports, it can get out of them. It's a tank up at high altitudes, like you don't have to worry about falling out of a coffin corner or anything like that in the 319. 320 is that just in between slippery plane that is hardest to land, I think, out of the three. And then the 321 is kind of your Cadillac luxury liner version of the Airbus family. RC says you think the sharklets make it look better. I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree. Cord Lang, thank you so much, man. Welcome on board. You just saw weather on my weather radar now on the A321 card. Excellent, man. Spar Cutabos, just subscribe. Welcome aboard, man. Welcome. Wow, I don't think I've ever flown across these mountains before. This is unreal. I've never done a stream out of Reno going southbound. We are definitely coming back. Dave Counts with a subscription. Welcome on board, man. I'm just kind of baffled right now at these mountains.
Roger.
Look at this terrain, guys. Goodness. That is amazing. Thomas says, hey, does a 321 really get the pitch attitude right every time I come in to land with it? It's always going to be zero pitch and almost 3-point landing. Thomas, so, no, you don't want a 3-point land with 321. You don't want a 3-point land any airliner. Definitely, that's a big no-no. Yeah, if you guys are familiar with that Russian incident recently where the 321, was it a 321? Regardless, it was an Airbus nose gear came through the floor. Okay, that front gear is not designed for extreme loads. Now, that was a different situation there, and definitely pilot air, but you don't want to be three-pointing any landings if you can help it. Now, the 321, yes, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. 321, yes, definitely comes in shallower. We talked about this a little bit, about the flaps. I haven't done too many most of my testing in this airplane in the beta stage was taking off, flying around, checking the systems, the FMGC, things like that. So I don't have that many landings with it. I do think this plane comes in pretty flat, but I think it's also a load factor too. So it depends on how your plane is loaded. But the lower pitch attitude on approach is normal, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's why that's the whole point of that double slotted flat back there, is to reduce the AOA on approach so that you don't have to flare, or not so you don't have to flare. So when you do flare, you don't risk hitting that tail. Definitely a juicy orthos, Carta, Umberto. I mean, that is some serious juice back there. I might have to do a return stream into Salt Lake, because these are some fantastic mountains. Where are we? I don't even know where. Nah, there's not very good mountains on that side. Let's go back over here. Let's go to the map, because where are we? There was phenomenal terrain modeling back. Oh, Yosemite Valley back off there? Okay. Yeah. Mount Collins, yeah, okay. Definitely going to have to do another stream back in here, because that terrain was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic looking terrain back there. Get that up.
322, Fresno approach, thank you.
Your left speaker just blew out? Oh no, I hope it wasn't because of the stream. Go Fly Sim says, I have the 319. I will pass on the 321. I would prefer 350 or 330.
American 322, roger.
Heck, man, if you want a heavy airplane, then yeah, you might want to hold out. So the 321, guys, like I said, without ACT tanks, it's not a super long-haul airliner, because it actually has less fuel economy than the 19 and the 20. So just because it is a longer stretched version, now that's on the standard option. Now the Toliss comes with the option to add up to two ACT tanks, which definitely increases the range of the airplane. Then it kind of puts it in that competition market with. I hate saying compete with the 7.5, because that's really unfair, but it definitely puts it on longer routes, or has the possibility of longer routes. And then you look at the Neo or the XLR coming out, the extreme long range. Now we're talking about some serious range differences. Abby Lawrence, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome aboard. But I haven't flown one yet anyway with ACT tanks. The way the ACT tank works, I've been looking up in my manuals and stuff how they actually operate, but essentially they're tanks that feed the center tank first, and then once they're dry, you continue feeding normally. Captain Birdo, $5 bomb, says, how are you today? Birdo, what's going on, man? I'm doing good, man. How you doing? It's a little bit windy out here in Texas, but it was a fantastic stream. I wanted to get the stream kicked off a few hours earlier, but I just ran into some complications. You know what it is, dad life and having a young kid running around. So, but I'm doing fine, man. I hope you're having a wonderful day as well. Thank you. Thank you for that support, your support to the channel, Berto. Carta, you actually are avoiding some red weather spots. Interesting. Is that with active sky on, Carta? Are you painting weather with active sky on? I'm curious. Dougal, let me get right on that, man. Let me take a look. Let me pop that up here. I don't run, so I noticed. It's interesting. When I run Discord in the background with the Toliss 321, I get crazy spikes on my CPU usage. So for instance, I just opened my Discord and it popped up to 77% usage. Dougal, copy that, man. Giovanni, Gio, you still here, man? I'm looking at your juicy freaking screenshots. 321 Frontier. Oh, that 7th floor is a beauty. And an American 321. Too bad it's got CFMs, Gio. Come on, man.
You have Moxie.
But all right, so 78%. Now I'm going to close Discord, and I just dropped down to 55. So that's interesting. This is the only plane that happens on. So I know that you guys have been having some crashes and stuff. Check your background tests. I say that hopefully we don't crash, but I haven't had a CTD yet with the 321, knock on wood. All right, let's go ahead and take a look, see where we are here. We are definitely not doing A2 Mach today, so we'll go ahead and dial that back. Did I initialize cruise altitude? Yes, I did. We're 310, 80 Mach. Everything looks good here. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off, ladies and gentlemen. You're now free to move back to cabin. We've got that set. How is our TOD looking? 120 miles. Perfect. Temperatures. Let's go take a look at our systems page here. We'll scroll ourselves down to the lower ECAM. These textures are great, guys. Totemac, fantastic. I think that was a fantastic job by Toliss to include his texture mod officially with this airplane here. So let's go ahead and critique some of the engine pages here. Really, Carter, you're painting it with active sky off the coast of South Carolina. All right, man. Excellent. Good to know, Carter. All right, bleed page. I still don't know why we've got these gray boxes around this. I think that's an old EIS-1 thing. I do not know. But that looks good. Cabin pressures look good. Landing elevation 130 feet. Perfect. Electrical page looks good to me. Hydraulics have all been serviced. You can tell they are all up there, nice and high. Ooh, fuel page. So this is something different in the 321 and most modern 320s. So in the 319, you'll notice you had wingtip tanks, right? We had the wingtip tanks, which once they got to a certain fuel amount, they would open. You'd get that outer tank valve or outer tank fuel transferred. That does not happen in the 321. You have straight left and right wing tanks, and your pumps, quote unquote, are not really pumps. They are Venturi jet pumps between the tanks. So essentially they are a suction-driven motive flow device that requires no moving parts. So when you look at the overhead, let's go up here. We've got center tank, left transfer, right transfer, and then the ACT, which we don't have on board this aircraft. These are not actual pumps. They are motive flow jet pumps, so no moving parts. And apparently they can't fail, but that's not true because I've had them fail in the airplane. I don't even know why, but we had a jet pump ECAM, which I didn't even think was possible because there's no moving parts. So let's go ahead and see if we can balance some fuel here. We're only about 30 kilos out. So what you want to do if you want to balance fuel, so there is no true fuel transfer. So I can't take fuel from this wing and transfer it directly to this wing tank. But what I can do is turn off the jet pumps to the engine with the crossfeed valve open and bring fuel from the opposite side. When I do that, I'm going to get excess fuel into the system. It's going to go to the engine and it's not going to burn. It's going to come through a fuel return line and it's going to overflow back into the on-side tank. So essentially what I end up doing is transferring fuel, but not the way you may think. So we're not transferring tank to tank. We're actually taking it through the fuel system, out the return line, and then it's pooling up on the on-side wing tank. So if you ever need to balance fuel, remember this. Open your crossfeed valve first. Make sure you get a green crossfeed. And then what we want to do is turn our on-side or our low side pumps off. So the left side is low. So these are going to come off. We're going to get an ECAM, or we should. There it is. Fuel tank low pressure, not a problem. And if you want to, you can go ahead and put it into ignition so if you get a flame out. But now, if we go up to the overhead, we should start to see, wow, that was quick. Now we're low, so overdid it. Let's do the right side. And now you can see it's increasing on the right side. So I wouldn't do this, only with this low of imbalance. Once you get up to, a couple hundred pounds, then you're definitely going to want to be balancing fuel. But just remember, your low side tank, turn the pumps off, make sure your crossfeed valve is open first, and then you should be good to go. You can turn the ignition on if you want to be extra careful as well. So, all right, our fuel has been transferred. We're level 310. It's a smooth ride. Let's do a little cabin tour, shall we? Let's hop back into the cabin. So, cockpit door has been open the whole flight. That would not be very good. Do we have a toilet? No lavatory. Man. All right, so cabin is pretty well modeled here. Nothing too fancy, but like I said, all economy class cabin. Pretty clean looking. Seat backs look good here. I'm just waiting for Carta, or not Carta, Gerald McGinley or one of you painters get out there and throw some safety briefing cards in the backs of these headrests. Here's our first overwing exit, just forward of the engines. Beautiful. All the way back, man. This is a long bird. A very long bird. 146 feet, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go. Colorado says, man, it's nice hearing ATP level systems explanations that aren't complete gibberish. I've only been through one type rating in my career, the BE350, but the contract training providers suck at systems. Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate that. I love teaching. I hope you guys like learning. I always try to teach on my streams here so you guys can pick up some tidbits of information. A little bit of a hole there. Not very good. There's the aft window. Pretty standard. So this is interesting. So there's not enough. Oh, there is. I was going to say, there wasn't enough lavatories on board this airplane for the amount of passengers, but we've got 2 lavatories here. I forget what Airbus calls this, and nothing here in the middle. So not most, but some carriers actually have a additional lavatory, which would be right about here, I think. So, but we've got 2 in the back there, so that'll make up for it.
American 133, 133, contact Los Angeles Center 133.2.
133.2 for American 133. It's a lot of 3s.
Center Bravo Kilo, so departure cancel altitude restriction.
Hey, looks like we've got a new controller. That's always nice. Change it up.
Cessna 169 Bravo Kilo, so departure cancel altitude restriction.
Where can I get the interior of this to mess with in paint shop? Big D1, I don't know, man. That's something you're going to have to ask one of the painters. I forget what center she said it was. Was it LA center? I think it was LA. LA, good afternoon. American 133, level 310.
American 133, Los Angeles Center, good afternoon.
All right, so we're on with LA center. Man, I love this shots here. We'll go back to the wing view. Colin Shirley, V1, no mid cabin lav. Yep, I agree, man. Cabin flex. Yes, I think that might be what it's called, Zex. It's either cabin flex or they have a space flex option. I don't remember what they all are, but there's several different configurations for the cabins.
133 traffic, 11 o'clock, 20 miles, opposite direction, A320, level 290.
Roger, we're looking at American 133. 11 o'clock, he says.
133 is climbing level 300.
Roger that, we're looking for American 133. So, he's climbing, but he's below us. So I'm going to go put this TCAS into below mode, see if we can paint him. I'm not even painting him on the TCAS.
American 859, correction, Alaska 859, contact Oakland Center.
I don't see him yet.
128, correction, 127.
We'll keep our eye out.
7.45, see you. 127.45, we'll see you. Alaska 859.
Will says, good evening, my friend. I'm new to the channel, but I'm liking the Toliss 321. Bought it today. Hope you're doing well. Excellent, Will. I'm doing just fine, man. Welcome aboard. Glad you're enjoying the Toliss 321. I hope you're not experiencing some crashes. I know a couple guys have been experiencing some crashes to desktop. Fortunately, I've been pretty lucky, but I will mind you guys as a word of caution. For me, on my rig specifically, when I run background tasks, something simple
That
as...
traffic should be no factors passing your 9 o'clock and 10 miles now. Send via Ironman 2 or up.
All right, we'll descend via the Ironman 2, American 133. Thanks, sir. All right, descend via the Ironman. So, they are landing westbound. Bottom out is 6,000 feet, so we'll set 6,000 here at the bottom. But what I was saying about the 321 is make sure that you maybe reduce your background task. Maybe that will help. I'm not 100% sure, but I never did see that traffic. For 9 o'clock, huh? He might have been in the clouds. All right. Can you briefly explain how you walk through the cabin? So I just press the forward and back arrow keys, which on an American keyboard, the 2 keys right of the M. So there's like a bracket left and a bracket right. That is forward and back. Might also be known as comma and period. The comma and period keys are by default lets you move forward and back. And then the arrow keys left and right. JR, hey, what's up, V1? What do I do when center tank feeding pops up? JR, hey, that is completely normal. That means that you have center tank fuel. Now, center tank fuel is inhibited when the leading edge slats are deployed, and that is because during takeoff and landing, Airbus logic wants each engine running off of its independent fuel tank system. That way, if you have contaminated fuel, something happens, it only is going to happen to one engine. You don't want to be running off the same fuel source. So with the flaps out or slats extended in position 1, you will get center tank fuel feeding. You will also get center tank fuel feeding after engine start for a period of, oh gosh, is it 3 minutes or 90 seconds? I don't remember, until the flaps are extended, then it will go off because it runs a test to make sure everything is good before departure. But center tank feeding is totally normal. That just means you have fuel in your center tank. And it probably means you're going somewhere far. Whenever I have center tank fuel, that means I hope I have a snack and something to do, because it's going to be a longer flight, most likely. Smitty, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Welcome aboard. Mile High says, hey, V1, what's the best time to set approach for a glide slope? So, Mile High, our procedure, you're talking about arming the approach on the approach push button on the FCU. Whenever you get cleared for the approach, if you get cleared approach, then you hit there is a systematic way of doing things here. So, American 133, cleared ILS 25 left approach. What I know is I turn on one of my lights, because I know I'm cleared approach, press the approach push button, and autopilot 2 if I'm on an ILS. That's always going to be the same thing every approach. Is it true that the standard 321 has a smaller range than the standard 320? Yes, it is, Trip Beats. That's because it burns more fuel. So the 321, when you're not talking about adding more fuel tanks, actually has less range. Matrasov, I hope I'm saying that right, has become a member. Welcome aboard, man. Exclamation point, welcome for a little bit more information. Positive rates in chats, guys, for my members. Already welcoming aboard Matrasov. Welcome on board the V1 channel, man. Right now, I've got some exclusive only V1 content, some podcast stuff for you, and also if you're a fan of a Discord, if you sync your Discord up to your YouTube channel, you'll get access to the V1 After Dark channel there, which it runs to my phone, so it's much easier to have a communication with me or ask me questions than trying to DM me or something like that, because I get, I don't know, probably 20 DMs every day or so from people just answering random questions. And I don't mean to ignore you guys. I can't possibly answer every single question. I try, though. What does Econ Cruise mean? Econ Cruise, are you referring to... We're actually going to have to set up our approach here. Econ Cruise, in fuel planning purposes, that just means you're probably going to be at a lower cost index. But if you're talking about Econ Flow, Econ push button on the overhead, we talked about that already when we started, but that basically all it does is it reduces the amount of workload on the air conditioning system. Typically below 147 passengers, you'll turn the Econ Flow push button on, but it doesn't work when it's running off it doesn't work when it's running off a single bleed. So if the APU is providing bleed air, it doesn't matter if the push button is on or not. It would work now in flight, but in real life, I never really use it because it just makes it hotter and makes the cabin more difficult to control. so I tend to not use it. It's not a requirement by any means. It's just a recommendation. And like I said, that number can vary company to company, airline to airline, if you have that Econ Flow, or in the 319, 320, you have the low, medium, and high setting as well. So same general idea, just a different push button for it. All right, let me pull up the information here. Thanks for the free lesson, JR. Absolutely, man. Allie and Jeff, you did a 51 feet per minute landing at AV. Oh, wow. Excellent, man. That is a nice butter. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that good. I am definitely on the butter struggle bus, man. But we'll see. That's a fantastic landing. That's down there, 51 feet per minute. When do you click activate approach phase? So we do that at 10,000 feet. Make sure you're in selected speed, though. All right, so we are approaching 5 miles prior, 6,000 blue, pushed for managed descent. We'll go ahead and put our, oh, it's already in below because we were looking for that traffic. So we are on our way down, Mach descent, nav, altitude, and magenta for the first constraint there. Let me go ahead and program the box guys here real quick while I've got the ATIS up. Arriving runway 24 right and 25 left. I'm hoping they'll give us, I'm going to ask for 25 left. Information Oscar, so let me write that down so I don't forget. Oscar. 230 at 14 is the wind, right down the pipe. That's what I like to see. 230 at 14, temperature in LA 20 degrees Celsius. QNH is where are the 3002. 3002. Let me pull up the approach plate here. I don't know if I have it, if I downloaded it. Let's take a look. I'm not sure if I even downloaded 25 left. But that's okay. I have my work iPad on my lap, so I'm just going to pull that one up. We'll make sure she complies with all the speeds here. So Crowy at 2926. We're already in range with that. That looks good. So quickly, let me pull up a Los Angeles approach chart here. I figure by this time we all know how to brief an approach. We know how to set up an approach. So I'm not really taking the time to show you that actual chart. I'm just going to put it in here. LA 25 left. I think I'd have it by memory by now. 304. In the MDA for Cat 1 ILS, that looks good. There's our flap 4 go around. That looks good to me. Perf data, next phase. We're already in Mach descent mode, leveling at 26. So she went all the way down for that 26 right off the bat. Out constraint star, that's normal. Landing config fuel, VAP 147. How are we looking on fuel? 54 minutes extra time, so we've even saved some gas. Secondary, now that we have a secondary, we're going to do good habits for using our secondary flight plan. So, copy the active. Just in case something were to happen, you have it backed up. Now I would send for my landing performance data, but we don't have any data link function here. So we've got that set up. It is an ILS approach, so we'll turn on our LS push buttons, left and right. We're going to do manual brakes, full reverse, let the airplane slow down naturally so we don't smoke the brakes. And everything else looks good. So you ready for a brief? Let's brief it. Planning the ILS 25 left into LAX 109.9. We'll be looking for ILAX on there. Final approach course will be 251. So we're actually missing a 251 approach course here on this. Should be a magenta line or a box saying the final approach course. 251. Barrows 304, 1900 at Lima. Mist will be with the tower since it'll be a visual approach. We're an Airbus A321 for tail strike avoidance. We're going to watch our pitch. Max pitch, 7.5 degrees is our unemployment attitude. 7.5. Andre Henry has become a member to the channel. Welcome on board, Andre. Positive rates in the chat.
133, contact Los Angeles Center 135.5.
135.5, American 133. Exclamation point, welcome, Andre, 135.5. I hope that was right. Welcome aboard, man. Glad to have you here. Glad you are enjoying the content. Become a member. I never hit this transfer button. There it is, 35.5. LA American 133 is 23.9 ascending via the Ironman 2.
133 Los Angeles, Los Angeles, altimeter 3002.
3002, American 133. All right, so we are not going to meet that 280, are we? Let's see. Yeah, you did a bad job there, Mr. Airbus. Definite speed error there. We'll get the speed brakes out. All right, so the speed brakes are going to shut the door there for
1089 Quebec, SoCal approach,
for the dogs, but the 321, you can access full speed brake deflection. So unlike the 320, with the autopilot on, you can get full deflection of the speed brake. So that looks plenty good there. We'll go ahead and retract that back to 0. A little bit hot there at that first speed restriction.
Quebec, just for clarity, you can
all right, so now we're looking at M dots, 24 and 20. Everything is looking good.
Direct, just maintain VFR.
Outside view time. Wow, that is a shot there. Danbury says, are you using my landing rate or one of the others and trying to gauge your butters? Danbury, I think I'm using one of your original ones. Did you make them all? I mean, I have the one that I really like is the one that shows, and I wish I had a link to it, but it shows your height above threshold coming over the runway, 50 feet, or that's what I strive for anyways, 50 feet, and it shows your center line and things like that. And then I also have the plugin that does the butter or acceptable or hard landing, which I'm definitely fond of that hard landing announcement after taking that MD-80 into Aspen. But I'm not sure, Danbury. Forgive me, man. I don't know if you were the creator of all three of those or whatnot, but I definitely use 2 of them. Nevada Rock says, View, can you quickly show where the offset function?
Kilo Papa SoCal approach, the LA altimeter 3002 after key mode to maintain 7,000.
Is that for us? Hope that wasn't for us. No, he said after chemo, so I don't think that was for us. Can you show where the offsets are? Yes, I won't do an offset right now, but let's say you wanted to do offset, so you have to pick a fix. So if I wanted to offset from, let's try run-in. Oh wow, we can't do run-in, so maybe we have to do it from L1. L1 offset work in progress. So it is definitely work in progress, man. Apparently it's not modeled yet, so I didn't even think to check offsets. But it's funny that you bring that up, because I just did a slop offset in the Nat tracks the other day for the first time in a long time. So there's standard, so 3002. So the offset function is a great function for international waters, because there's a lot of restrictions. You can't just deviate, left or right a few degrees. You have to strategically offset. They call it SLOP, strategic lateral offset procedure. And you use that offset function in the McDo to calculate, okay, I'm going to offset 15 left of course, rejoin at this fix, and you can select the angles that you rejoin and stuff. That's pretty in-depth on the McDo there. It's kind of not surprised it's not modeled, but obviously work in progress for that. All right, let's go ahead and get that back. No, I wonder why it's flashing 3002. Isn't there a way to set transition altitude? Oh, you know what? I think I didn't set it on the descent page here. Transition altitude 18,000. Boom. That should take care of that flashing. Perfect. All right, we're at a 16.3. We're picking up the bumps here. Let's get the seatbelt sign on. Paul Winnock says, excellent stream, V1. Paul, thank you so much, man. Welcome aboard. Is the fix info page at all working? Yes, it is, Carda. It is working. So, unfortunately, there's no fixed info. There's no fixed info. There's no reason to use the fixed info page right now. But let's just say So Van Nuys, VNY, you see it there on the ND, so I'm going to back out of there. We'll make it bigger so you can look at it. L1, fix info. Check this out. I'm going to have a tutorial on this here very soon on why and when to use it. Let's say I wanted to put a 30-mile-an-hour ring, or 30 nautical mile radius. Boom. There it goes. Van Nuys. And you could do radials off that. You can try to shoot down your own airplane. So I would guess I'm at the 205. Oh no, I was way off. So yeah, I shot base. So I should have shot probably closer to the, what about 350? Oh, wow. So anyway, that's a little bit about the fix info page. I will definitely detail that when and where to use the fix info. Unfortunately, we don't really have it or use of it on this approach here going into LA. Pretty standard. No funny business at all. Out of 14, getting ready to go through 10. We got the clouds out there. And Tony, what does the commercial button do on the overhead panel? So that has to do with the electrical configuration and shedding of certain electrical loads. So it's something that you really won't use very often. Is there much difference between the 321 and 319 apart from size? I have the 767 already. So, Brian, in all honesty, the biggest difference between the 319 and 321, true to real life and true to explain, is it's going to be the handling characteristics. Nothing, and just subscribe. Thank you, man. Welcome aboard. So the handling characteristics are going to be the biggest difference that you'll notice between the 319 and 321. The 319, I've often referred to it as the little hot rod or the Swiss Army knife of the Airbus family. It gets in and out of small airports. It's a tank in turbulence. It does what it does the job, and it gets it done pretty well. 321 is that more luxury liner Cadillac version, heavier, longer, same wing, same exact wing, same flight control surfaces. So you're going to have a decrease in performance because of that, because you've basically taken that same lifting device and put a more demand on it by stretching the fuselage. Now, the engines are rated at a higher thrust output. It is the highest rating thrust output for the 320 families in the 321, because obviously it's the heaviest version of the three. So it can be a beast of an airplane if it's loaded. If you're not heavy, man, the 321 can really perform. But honestly, the cockpit is very similar. This particular model from Toliss, they've given us the version with aux center tanks, the ACTs. We have that push button. There is differences in the labeling here. Probably only an Airbus guy really is going to notice the difference, but transfer versus tank pump, things like that, the way these are labeled is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we have the Econ push button here, which we talked about that, and then looks like they've had an additional loading shedding situation here, like the galley shed basically. 24.5 American 133. So you could shed all the, that's complex stuff that I'd have to do a tutorial video for you guys. There's really no point in explaining it on stream, but just know it's for the electrical configuration. Now, one thing that's interesting is seeing this VLS come up here pretty high like that. I don't really recall seeing it come up that high. So we'll have to look at, we're going to monitor that closely. 24.5 is up. Well, we have information Oscar.
CJHFO content Las Vegas approach 125.
Let's turn up the volume a little bit. Let's get back in it here. Los Angeles approach, good afternoon. American 133, 10-3 descending via the Ironman 2 with information Oscar, request 25 left.
American 133, SoCal approach, LA altimeter 3002, expected approach runway 24 right.
All right, we'll expect 24 right, American 133. All right, so he's going to give us a 24 right approach. So there's 10,000. Man, look at that. That's really interesting. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. There's 10,000 feet. Let's get our lights on.
Las Vegas approach should be 26 left. Does that work for you?
He's going to give us the visual to 24 right. So we're going to select arrival.
Maintain 5,000 vector ILS runway 26 left.
24 right.
Citation 212, contact SoCal approach 135.4.
Insert that. 24 right is in the box. This actually kept our MDA, which that wouldn't happen in real life. It would wipe out the MDA, but we'll leave it as 304. It's going to be a visual anyway. 109.5, that is updated. We're at 9,000 feet. And we're approaching a based 9,240 knots.
133, contact SoCal approach 128.5.
28.5, American 133. Approach American 133.85, descending via the Iron Man 2.
582 Victor Bravo 6.
SoCal approach, Bonanza 313 Waffle, level 7,000 with Oscar.
Nevada Rock says, great job on Toliss on the 321. At least we have our own X-plane, but I expected a bit more, and the flight factor 320 gives me more of an immersion flying the A322X for armchair pilot. Yeah, man, to each their own. I'm not going to knock anyone's opinion. It is, you know, if you already have the 19 or the 20, if you're not a diehard Airbus fan, you probably may not be as interested in the 321. But if you are, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It handles more like a 321 than anything else. That's what you're really going to notice is the hand flying characteristics and things like that. All right, I'm going to go flaps 1 because this is really whacking out here. So that is interesting. I don't know why I would say that our VLS is that high. Interesting. All right, well, we'll keep rolling with it. We're 7.6. We were supposed to be at 210 knots back there. We definitely blew through that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually select speed.
American 133, reduce speed to 180, then continue descent, amend out to maintain 7,000.
Okay, reduce speed to 180. We'll stop the descent here, 7,000, American 133. Speed alt star. I'm going to get the brakes out, slow down. I think we're eating up somebody down there in front of us. I saw the traffic.
Type unknown. Send and maintain.
So we're level 7,000 now. We got the speed brakes out. Let's go ahead and reduce speed to 170.
Thank you.
Here comes our F speed, minus 10. We'll go flaps 2. And we'll do that from this view right here. That's a cool shot right there. Absolutely. Now we'll really start to see that double-slotted Fowler flap coming out. There it is. LA down there. Man, I love this shot. Wow, the engines are really kicked up on that one.
American 133, traffic.
Swarm says, so since the 321 was released, when is the video? 319, 320, 321 coming out? Ooh, man. That's interesting. I might have to do one on that.
313 Kilo Papa, report leaving 5,000.
Captain Tom, 151 into Charlotte. Excellent.
2 o'clock, 7
Excellent.
miles eastbound. American A320 at 7,000.
Passing through 5,900 in 1 second. Bonanza Guapa.
Did you say you have in sight?
Q&H is not selected on right side, Robin. Is it not? Let me take a look. I thought I had them synced up.
133 to maintain 6,000.
Send to 6,000, American 133. No, it is not. Let's go ahead and switch it over. There we go. FO was falling asleep there. Thrust idle open, descent. 7 for 6,000 to go. Let's do a flyby shot here coming into SoCal.
Maintain 3,500.
Maintain 3,500. Bonanza Guapa.
I don't know how I feel about that. That might be a little bit one of those right there.
American 133, that Bonanza is now 11 o'clock, 4 miles.
We're looking at American 133. Inside American 133.
Miles from Shand, fly heading 230, maintain 5,000 until established, localize the cleared ILS, runway 26 left approach.
Oh, that wasn't for us.
I think I stepped on someone.
Who's talking about Shand?
A 3 Kilo Papa, the American A320 is still at 2 o'clock and 2.5 miles.
Traffic inside, Bonanza Guapa.
So I got the Bonanza off there at 11 o'clock.
Caution wake turbulence, 1,000 feet above.
Sweet, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we got that traffic inside for American 133.
American 133, roger. To maintain 5,000.
Send to maintain 5,000, American 133. All right. That seems interesting since he's right below us, but...
3 Kilo Papa flighting 190.
190, Banana Strict Papa.
Terrible flyby sounds. Yeah, I'm not very impressed by the flyby sounds, but I'm not very surprised either. Toliss did state that it was
133 just to maintain 4,500.
4,500 American 133. That it was going to be their standard TSS sounds that came out with the 319. So, all right, 4,500 is set.
44734 contact SoCal approach.
Still 180 on the speed. Things are looking good. I do like flying in LA though. It's cool having that traffic around here flying around. That's pretty cool. Big D1, I'm about to get in trouble with ATC. Nah, man.
American 133, turn right heading 160.
Right turn 160, American 133. 160 on the heading. I don't think we're getting in trouble. Speed alt heading, right turn.
The airport in sight.
3 Kilo Papa, roger.
Love that. Love that leading edge slide out there. Mm.
And
once you use MDA versus DH in the McDo, so you're going to use MDA all the time unless you're doing a Cat 2 or Cat 3 approach, man. Always, and that's, I shouldn't say always. The way we do it here in America, use the MDA.
3 flighting 230, join the runway 24 right, localizers, and maintain 3,500.
230 on the heading, descend to maintain, was that 3,500? And join the 24 right localizer, American 133.
American 133, all that is correct. That Bonanza is now at your 2 o'clock and 4 miles southbound, 3,000 descent.
Okay, we still got him inside American 133. All right, so we got all that right. That was one of those clearances I just talked about in my podcast. They give you a heading,
the,
altitude.
Airport, 1 o'clock, 14 miles, report to site.
Inside American 133.
American 133, maneuver behind the Bonanza, clear visual approach runway 24 right.
Clear visual approach 24 right, American 133. All right, so he wants us to maneuver.
Visual separation with the trap.
All right, we'll maintain visual separation, American 133. All right, so we're going to maintain visual separation with the Bonanza. That's affirmative. The Bonanza at our 10 to 11 o'clock now?
He's practically 12 o'clock now.
Oh, yeah, we see that guy, too. Is he going into L.A.?
But American 133, he's going south side he's going for runway 25.
Okay, roger that. Yeah, we'll maintain visual. We have him inside, and we're joining the low 24 right, American 133.
3 Kilo Papa, turn.
All right, so we've got him inside out there.
Final. Clear visual approach 125 left. Traffic A320.
We're cleared.
Clock and 3 miles. As you inside, maintain visual separation from you.
I don't know if he actually gave us
20 right, clear
a visual approach.
Left, and traffic inside, Banana Strict Papa.
Did he give us the actual approach? And approach for American 133. I don't know if I missed it. Did you clear us visual approach 24 right? We do have it in sight.
American 133, I stepped on you. You are clear from clear visual approach runway 24 right. Is that what your question was?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just didn't know if I missed it. Okay, we're cleared to visual approach 24 right, American 133. We still have that Bonanza in sight. All right, so we've got glide slope blue, a lope blue, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 plus 2. I'm going to go ahead and drop us down to 2200 at Jetsa because we'll get a tendency to get high here.
3 Kilo Papa, contact LA Tower, 120.95. Thanks for the help, Steve.
So Jetsa's 2200 feet. We're clear. Runway's in sight. Everything is looking good. Going to have to ignore the chat here a little bit. So same with the 320, 319 guys. If you meet that window, 2,000 feet AGL, 180 knots, flaps 2. At that point, lower the gear, manage the speed. You will be on speed and stable. All right, screens are set. We are cleared visual approach. Ooh, one thing I forgot is to put in the tower frequency, which is going to be
133. Contact LA Tower 133.9. Thanks for the help. Have to go.
33.9, American 133. No problem. We'll see it.
2,500.
33.9. There we go. I should have had that dialed in. LA Tower, good afternoon. American 133, visual, 24 right.
American 133, LA Tower, good afternoon. Runway 24 right, clear to land.
24 right, clear to land, American 133. All right, here comes 2,000 feet. We'll go ahead and manage gear down. Let's check out these animations. That's a beauty shot right there. That is some juice. Definitely busy in here, Carta. Definitely busy in here. All right, VFE next minus 10, flaps 3. VFE next minus 10, flaps full. Go around altitude is going to be set at 3,000 feet. Blue is set. That speed is awfully low. I'm going to bump it up here. I'm going to give myself 3 knots. We'll go 150 on the approach speed. All right, so we are cleared vid visual. I'm going to have to ignore the chat here, guys. Let's see if I can set this baby down. Autopilot's coming off. Landing check is chemical advised, auto thrust speed. ECAM memo, landing all green. A landing check is complete. We are clear to land 2-4 right, guys. All right, so looking at that pitch attitude there, right about, man, we're almost below the horizon a little bit.
Traffic.
Okay, he's inside, off the left.
Traffic.
You know what, I'm going to actually dial that back because the speeds seem a little finicky. Alright. Enough of that nonsense. Well, we're getting way high. Hey, we have a 12-knot crosswind, so let's go ahead and fly the airplane. Got a little high there. 1 red on the pappies. We're bringing it back down. 1,200 feet amber correcting. That's a call out if you have to descend. But we got it back stable now. We're stable by 500 feet. We're landing 2-4 right, 2 whites, 2 reds.
400.
That pitch attitude looks a little bit better there.
300.
I guess 150 was a little aggressive when I changed that. Sometimes I'll buff that VREF speed a little bit. Wow, I'm lagging here pretty good.
200.
Man.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Transportation Manager 2212 visual 26 left.
Woofies. We're down.
26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land.
Spoilers. A reverse green. Decel. Unstable approach lands to unstable landings. I definitely got a little unstable there on that approach, and that showed in my flare. 64 feet high. We'll take this one. Stow him.
Big Lama clear of 25 left at Alpha 4 going to Atlantic.
300 on the landing.
Taxi to parking the Alpha.
Alright, so this is something tricky with the 320. You gotta make sure you hold short of 24 left there.
133 at Alpha Alpha, cross runway 24 left. And are you parking on the north side?
We're parking south side and Alpha Alpha, clear across 24 left, American 133.
American Alpha, American 133 on the other side.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Alright, clear across and ground on the other side, American 133, we'll see it. Alright, so we're clear across. We're going to leave the airplane out there, leave it configured. That was not my best landing on that one, for sure. But we'll take. Was the landing 321, Daniel Smith? Would be appropriate if it was.
61 Golf Kilo Van Nuys Tower, runway 16 right, cleared for takeoff.
16 right, clear for takeoff.
Alright, so now we're clear. Let's go ahead and clean it up, stow the brakes, get the flaps up. The flap animation sounds are pretty sweet. And we'll go ahead and turn the strobe lights off. And I'm going to disconnect from Pilot Edge because I'm just going to take the first available gate. Actually, I'm going to disconnect from Pilot Edge. Disconnected. Will Devi become a private pilot? Positive rates in chats. Welcome aboard, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I actually tried to land at 321 feet per minute. Just so you guys know, I encourage you to try to land at 321 feet per minute. It's pretty tough. All right, 321 is not terrible, but it was definitely one of those approaches, guys, where I always used to tell my students this too. When you become unstable, your landing is probably going to reflect that. Azorian77, thank you for the subscription, man. Welcome aboard. So you notice on that approach, I just got distracted trying to change things, right? I had the box up. I went to 130 or 150 on the speed. Then I backed it back down. I was high. I was right. So all those little factors play into your approach and landing. You get unstable on the approach, and even though we were stable by SOP terms and being able to land, we still were unstable by pilot terms, and that'll definitely impact your landing. So we'll take a look at it there on the replay. But it was nothing to write home about, that is for sure. But that's why we have replays, so we can study them. I like to study the landings and see what went wrong. Oh my gosh, that middle marker is killing me.
Subscriber ahead.
Did it feel different between controlling? Yes, I feel like my stick, I flare way. So the input that I put to my joystick in X-Plane would 100% be a tail strike in real life. So that is why, and I've spoken to another Airbus pilot about this too, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if I should try increasing my sensitivity more. Maybe I need to mess with some of those control forces, because the amount of pitch that I put into my side stick here on X-Plane would 100% be a tail strike in real life. So I have a tendency to underflare, hence getting a nice little impact there. Mataj, thank you for subscribing, man. Welcome aboard. I'm going to have to
Subscriber ahead.
Definitely check that. QF Aviator, welcome aboard, man. Thank you for the subscription. Hey, if I can still get subscribers after getting a 321 foot per minute landing, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys. Fuel truck crossing the taxiway there. Excellent. 7K Euro trip is imminent. Great job on the channel growth, V1. Great channel. Thank you, Max Rank. I really appreciate it, man. And Max has got it right. 7K subs, guys. We're doing a 7-hour stream over to Europe. DJ Soulless with a subscription. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. It definitely eases the soul after getting a 321 foot per minute landing. But it is what it is, man. You saw it firsthand. High over the threshold, off center line, distracted. And I'm also drinking, so but I hate to blame that. Denzel Washington did it. I can do it. Antonio says, V1, do you always say cabin crew, disarm slides? Or that's a flight attendant call out, Antonio. So I don't say anything about disarming slides or anything like that. Now, what I may say is I may call them back and be like, hey, are you guys ready? Arm the hit your cabin ready button. Sometimes they forget. Let's hope we can get a nice replay on there. I'm having some weird, I don't know if it's coming through on stream, but are you guys getting those stutters? I'm getting a couple stutters. I don't know. CPU usage is down. Let's see what's going on here. And my GPU is being taxed pretty hard. Holy crap, 98%. All right, we'll make a left here because I don't want to taxi any further. We'll close that, shut that light off, fire up the APU. We'll park next to the CRJ over here. Nevada Rocks, your conclusion of the 321, it definitely flies differently than your 319 from Toliss. I think it is a pretty good purchase. I'm not going to comment on price or anything like that. We'll park here at 43. But it is definitely a different animal, 100% a different animal than your 319. And you will notice it when you turn the autopilot off. That's when you're really going to notice that it's a different animal. All right, we got A321. Cozy MX just subscribed. Thank you, man. Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and set her down right. Oh, I missed it. There it is. Brake set. Engine 2. Seatbelt signs. APU is available. Engine number 1. Spooling them down. Rand Cooley, $10 bomb coming in. Not a perfect world, my friend. Rand Cooley, thank you so much, man. Welcome. Or you've been around for a while, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Rand. Definitely a big supporter here at the channel. And it is definitely not a perfect world. So thank you for that. I will definitely have to take a look at this replay here before we get out of here. So 5% beacon come off. I want to make sure the doors don't open. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this replay. Let's disable real view. So guys, if you were watching that Neo stream, is that a brakes hot E-cam? What did we do? Oh, we didn't do bad at all. It's not hot. Barely 300. Barely 300. Not even. So the ones that were watching that night stream, I disabled Pilot Edge, but I did not disable Real View, and 100% that's what crashed my game. So I apologize for that. Hopefully this won't crash. Let's back it up, take a look at the landing here. Let's study this. See if we can learn something here. All right, so we can actually see our speed and everything. That's kind of cool. Let's move it forward a little bit. Whoa.
Traffic.
Had TCAS going off. Look at that wind shift there. You can see the airplane weather vane. I was high, I was low, and then right here. This is when this is not good, and this is honestly this is kind of slightly embarrassing from a professional pilot standpoint. Like this should not. I should not be in this position here. So I'm always my hardest critic, but that's a terrible approach there. I let the airplane get away from me. We definitely got it back down here. I mean, you could see we got back on the slope. Oh, the speed was pretty good. Definitely crabbing. Definitely crabbing a little bit. We'll watch it from here, and then we'll check it out. Doesn't the cockpit seem dark? Not terribly dark, Ricky. X-Plane just has some weird lighting things, man. I'm still getting that stutter here in the replay. Kehan says, is it true that flight factor systems are more accurate comparing to Toliss products? How about flight feeling? They are using two totally different algorithms. I would say they're pretty comparative. I mean, like, they're pretty similar in comparison, flying-wise. Systems are pretty much there either way. I know Flight Factor has a little bit more on the... I guess I can't even really say the McDo point of things there. That was a 303 there on that touchdown. But it's hard to compare, man. It really is. I'd have to really look into it. Now that Toliss has the new MCDU, it may be more functional than the Flight Factor McDo. So we have to take a look at that. We'll have to see what the Flight Factor McDo can do. I know it doesn't have fix info. Maybe I ran into a wake from that Bonanza. No, I thought I was there, and then I don't know. That was just terrible all around. Really, I went off center line. I want to see. Will it show my speed here in the cockpit? Let's take a look, and then we'll look outside. So
10.
Right there, I thought I had it. I thought that was the touchdown. Now look what's happening. My speed here dropping below VAP, VREF. Now this is when you kerplunk.
10. 5.
Yeah. That was a clunker. Let's take a look outside. Let's see what happened. Watch your ears there. I'm going to turn the sounds down a little bit. All right, let's take a look. Coming in, pretty good deck angle. Jeff Fabiano, welcome, man. Says great landing. Well, wasn't that great? I don't think. Oof, yeah. But we got the flare in there. That's about right. I have been loving this bird. Jeff, you and me both, man. Welcome aboard. Thanks for that. Glad to see you here, man. I thoroughly enjoyed your FS 2020 critique, man. I mean, that was a fantastic fantastic video you did critiquing all the little. I mean, you noticed things that I didn't. I never would have noticed in a million years. So that was a fantastic video to watch, man. What's my podcast called? It's called V1 After Dark, and it is only for members. There's a members-only podcast. All right, so let's go ahead and back it up, and let's take a look from my favorite view here. Nice little crap. I think I just missed it, man. Really not too much to excuse there. I flared early. You know what it was? I flared early. Look at that. I flared early in an Airbus. Wow, that's pretty terrible. So I flared early. Wind started to push me over. And kerplunk. Ooh, yeah, that's a kerplunker. Even Stanley wasn't happy about that. But that's about the pitch angle you want to see right there on touchdown. So, what is that, 2.5 degrees pitch? Pitch angle was there. I just missed it. I flared early. Well, with my dogs barking, I think it's that time, guys. I think it is that time. We'll get the music going here. Yeah, flared early and just dropped it. Just dropped it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in on this stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a thing or two about the 321. I'll definitely be streaming with it a little bit more here as we continue to explore this airplane and have some more fun with it. And I will definitely be getting a fix info and lateral offset procedures out there when the lateral offset gets modeled, but we'll definitely talk about fix info in the recent or in the near future. So until then, all my mods, my sponsors, everybody hanging out with me in chat, all the new members, the new subscribers, Jeff Fabiano, good to see you here, man. I will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll be signing off. We'll see you.